Scoot it a little closer, Natty.
Hello, welcome to the Words Out podcast, where we tell you what's up and what's out in the world of poetry. My name is Samantha.
And my name is Kitty.
And I'm Nettie Long Poetry.
Yeah.
Yes, we are joined today by my good friend Nettie Long. And she is an outstanding poet. She also sings. We've been in the studio together a few times and put together some magical things. Nettie, I remember when I met Nettie a long time ago, and she doesn't remember meeting me.
Oh.
And I walked up to her about right before the pandemic in a Delaware open mic, and I just got finished performing, and people know me because I host different things, and I host with Sealy's. And I walked up to her, and she read, and I walked up and said, "Hey, Nettie, that was great, man." And she looked at me and goes, "You know me?" I'm like, "Yeah, I know you. Like, you're Nettie Long." Like, because I didn't think you knew who I was. I'm like, "Yeah, I know who you are." Like, girl, own it.
Yeah, I also had those moments when I was first doing poetry.
Exactly. I was just
going to
say it. I was just starting.
Right.
Just getting my feet wet, performing at open mics. And, I was very, very new. So you're talking almost 10, 11 years ago.
But you really don't know like how many people actually know you by your performances until it's already kind of too late to reel it back.
Very, very true. So that was one of the examples.
Yeah. But I actually would like to know more about like the type of poetry that you write. Like, mm-hmm. I looked you up on Instagram, and I noticed that like a lot of it had to do with like domestic violence and like the experiences
mm-hmm.
of that
traumas.
Yeah.
So in my caption, when you're looking on my Instagram, it says I'm a poet survivor of domestic violence and childhood sexual trauma.
Mm-hmm.
And so how I even started in the poetry game is because I had even though I had gone through all the things that I went through, not my children now went through the same thing I was going through.
Mm-hmm.
I had met. So let me just go back a little bit about my background is that even though I'm a survivor of these two horrible things, I never got healed. So when you don't get healed and you have experienced traumas, you repeat some of the similar things. Mm. Like, you get into relationships that are very toxic because you're looking for love in all the wrong places. So I can personally admit that I don't know really how to love in a relationship properly. I had to learn these things, and it's different from learning how to, loving your children because you give birth to them, or you're raising children, or you have a love for children. That's different, Now you're trying to be in a love relationship and you don't know what love looks like. So that was my story.
Right.
I married right into pedophilia. I didn't know my ex-husband was a pedophile. And so it's not I can talk about it because I'm healed from it, but you're talking about a 15-year span of getting therapy, making sure my children get therapy. So out of that birthed Nettie Long Poetry. I was told to write a letter, and I'm like talking to my therapist, like I can barely utter sentences.
Yeah.
I'm barely existing. I don't even want to talk. And if it wasn't for my job being I'm like a program, so I answered the phones a lot. So it was scripted. So I didn't really have to go into too much of my job to perform it. However, I'm here and I don't know what to write, what to say. So she asked me to write a letter about anything. And I fought her for 6 months.
Oh, yeah.
So a lot of my therapy sessions, the first 6 months were just like, I can't believe this happened. How in the world? I kept putting a lot of that stuff on me. I'm a trauma victim.
Yeah.
Like I went through this. So how did I miss it? So then I had to learn what grooming was.
Yeah.
You
and,
know?
and for anyone who doesn't know, grooming is when an abuser will specifically kind of like pick you out, and like they'll notice certain traits about you specifically as a victim, and then they will groom you to accept certain behaviors, like get you used to it. So yeah, I definitely know.
The whole time I'm thinking that he is just trying to break barriers with my child, right? About trusting her. And now she's always desired a father. And so, you know, once we became a unit, he had his kids, I had my kids, and then we had kids together. I just thought, you know, to be honest, I just thought he was just trying to, all right, I'm going to date the girls this Friday. You take the boys out on Saturday. And so I'm not thinking anything of it. I'm trying to, you know, blend our family so that we're working as a unit. And I didn't know some of the conversations that they were having. And of course, in hindsight, until it blew up, yeah, like, you know, it was traumatic. It was traumatic. It was, once I found out, he abruptly left. They found him in Mexico. Like, it was a long, drawn out thing. And the only reason why they found him was because he tried to hack into my Facebook. And it timestamped, hey, was this you? And I felt like it was the Holy Spirit just telling me, report it. And that is where they found him, right? In the same city that he was in. So a lot of people don't know like my full story, because I've only been telling a lot of it in my earlier part of the years. But when I get booked for certain mental health events, I'll go deeper into when the importance of when your child has been traumatized, the importance that the responsibility that falls on the parent is that you have to get them rehabilitated. The most important thing to do in a child who's been abused, you have to take responsibility and get them rehabilitated. Now, sometimes they don't get rehabilitated in the way that we would want, right? Right. And so you just got to do your part as best as you can. Because I've had, there's seven kids. So some was over reproductive, like he was a go-getter. And when things got really hard for him, he didn't know, he would have a meltdown. Then others were just completely depressed, and others lost mobility of their extremities, had to learn how to walk all over again, had psychotic breaks. So it was detrimental. And so out of all of that experience, when I finally wrote that first letter, I ended up writing a piece called Author of Love. And I was asked to do a poetry piece. And that was my first piece that I ever did at a women's conference.
Okay.
So when I performed it, I said, okay, God, I see what you're doing here. I don't know what this is. So I started to educate myself more about poetry. And I'm an emotional writer. So I have to be either very upset about something, but I'm very passionate about something. That's the only way I can actually pen.
Okay.
You know, so.
Yeah, no, and I definitely identify with that. Like when I write poetry, it's usually when I'm not happy.
Right.
I have like 3 poems that are like more on the happy side, you know what I mean? But yeah, and most of my poems they're not happy at all. And it's what I'm feeling, and I feel like my poetry is more like prayers than anything. Like I'm writing, you know, what's in my heart.
Yes. So a lot of I've got over about 350 poems.
Nice.
But a lot of them did have to do with, all right, I'm going to simplify a feeling and everything that went into this feeling. And that's how I That's how matter of fact, the two pieces that I have, you'll understand. Like I really try to break down um, one of my traumas and then affirmations. You know what I mean? The importance of affirmations, because I don't think I'd be here today if I didn't learn how to encourage myself. Because my situation at home with the children was so devastating. I didn't want anybody to judge me.
Yeah.
Right.
I was already judging myself, and I did many years of that, of just saying it's just all my fault. What you're going through is just my fault. And I just want to take ownership of that, because I didn't want my children to feel like it was their burden to bear. But you know, when you're traumatized, you know what I mean? There's nothing that you can do. There's nothing like being a parent and not being able to help your child go through something.
You're absolutely right.
And so I learned a lot about motherhood, the importance of it, the importance of supporting your children, the importance of just being there and showing up. You know, I think that meant more to them than anything. That I didn't leave, like their father left.
Right.
You know, and so even though we were a blended family, I took ownership. Even though I married this man and I didn't understand what type of man he was going to be, but I wasn't going to leave the children.
Yeah.
And so his children ended up staying with me. They wanted to live with me. I adopted them, and the rest is history.
Oh.
Now, we have Nelly Long talking to us at Words Out Podcast. If you are listening in, or you want to participate, you want to ask some questions, please feel free to type it in. We will post your question up on the screen, and we will address whatever questions or comments that you might have. I want to give a shout out to my cousin Lisa, who's checking us out right now. And we're going to keep talking to Nelly. Nelly, now, we talked about your kids. What about your own personal trauma that you experienced?
Yeah, so let me tell you, that took a lifespan to kind of get over. And so I was never rehabilitated. I got molested by a female cousin. She was about 10 to 13 years older than me. It's a little hazy. But I was from like age 3 to like 6 or 7. And so that happened every weekend. Now, I didn't say anything. I was a little kid. It was our secret, those little things that were secret. And she wasn't violently hurting me. So I was getting pleasure from it. And so I do have a piece called Deep Within, and it does go through very vivid description of how I felt when I finally came to terms to it. Right. And so this was something that was carrying like a monkey on my back, but I didn't say anything to anyone until I did. And then we just stopped talking to that part of the family. We're talking my dad's, sister, niece. We're talking like first, relatives. So we just stopped talking to them, and that was their way of dealing with it. We didn't know. I mean, I was very young then. And then it happened again. My father was a pastor, and it was his assistant pastor who then molested me. And now I'm the age like 11, 12. And so I went through a lot of church hurt, a lot of because when I did expose that, I exposed it about 4 months later. And the pastor, of course, I'm a liar. I was a liar. And that he ended up there was a division in the church. So I felt responsible for that.
Oh, wow.
Okay. So I'm 12 years old.
As a kid,
feeling responsible that half the church left because they think I'm the liar.
Wow.
And so that was devastating. And then, from that, I was given a choice to get counseling, but I was like, I don't ever want to speak about this again.
Right.
So it was left up to me.
Yeah.
And I'm 12. I don't know any better. So do I think it would have been helpful? Yeah, I probably would have figured out who I am, and that it wasn't my fault, and maybe I wouldn't have carried the guilt and the shame, and we just don't understand the magnitude it takes on our children when they don't get rehabilitated. And
Mhm.
so I'm also an advocate, not only for mental health, but also being accountable for your
Mhm.
children. You have to be accountable. We got to be better parents. We gotta take responsibility. We gotta stop bad behaviors.
Mhm.
And we also got to check ourselves, because I can tell you that I parented the way that I saw it.
Mhm.
Right.
Right. And so when I started to get therapy and counseling, it was then where my kids had a safe passage to be able to even talk to me,
Mm.
right? Because now there's someone else present in the room,
Yeah.
and it was hard to hear the hard truths of how I was behaving.
Right.
And so I had to take a step back, and wow, I acted like that, and I didn't realize that my words were hurting them.
Mm.
And so I had to take accountability for that. Now, did that take like the next day? No, it took a course of the times that the kids constantly telling me, you see, this is what we're talking about. You see, this is what, and you think that they're being disrespectful, but that's just a byproduct of what your parents probably told you. You can't talk back. Like, I can remember the things that I said to them. Like, I don't care what you think. How many of us have done that, have said that? And so we do have to hold ourselves, our tongue, we got to hold our tongue responsible,
Mhm.
accountable. And then we shouldn't be vexing our children to the point where they can't have a safe space to talk to us.
Yeah.
So I had to learn that. By the
Mhm.
time they reached high school, I felt like not a friend, but somebody they could trust.
Right.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I'll say this real quick, that when my introverted son, right? Introvert is like when they're all closed in.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. And don't really talk to nobody.
Right.
And they're like, he must be the black sheep of the family. I remember one of the kids telling me, he was just like, no, I was having a conversation with him, and he's my college student now. He's going into his junior year of college. And he says to me, I was like, what's the matter? You don't trust me? He's like, no, I trust you. I don't understand some of the things that you do, but I trust you.
Mm.
And then the kids, him having a conversation with one of his sisters, he was just like, nah, the other day we had a really good conversation and we were talking about you, Mom. And he was just like, he said, you could have left and you didn't.
Mm.
So you don't really know how impactful you are to your kids until somebody tells you, right? And so that was, I really didn't think he liked me.
Oh.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I didn't think my kid liked me, but all I could say was I was just gonna love him as best as I could
Mhm.
if he allowed it.
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
So that's a hard truth for a lot of the parents.
Yeah.
Check your
Yeah.
relationships with your children. If you want them to talk to you, you're gonna have to make space for that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I honestly think that that's something that because I used to be a preschool teacher, and I would always get parents who'd be like, oh, my kid is so bad, like he doesn't listen to me, he curses, blah 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 blah. And then I say usually, like, well, does he hear you doing those things? Does he see you doing those things? Is he just copying you perhaps? And they always think about it and they're like, oh yeah, I guess I do. So it's like you really don't understand, even when you're in it, that like you are affecting your child, and
Yes.
your child is picking up on whatever you're putting out, and that can be good or that can be bad.
That's right.
Now, I kind of want to touch on this because you went through, and then you watch your kids go through. Tell us about that transition.
I was suicidal. I wanted to kill myself. I had a plan. Do you know what stopped me? I had an 8-month-old. And he was all the joy I needed. He was the joy that helped us stay as a family. His name is Micah. And he didn't talk much.
Oh, Micah was the one who was with us.
The little one.
When we went to North Jersey that time.
Yes.
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 So Micah's very observant. He didn't talk much when he was young, when he was growing up all the way up until the age 3. He did not talk. He watched all of us.
Mm.
So now, when you look at my son, he looks like almost everybody. He's got mannerisms and features and habits of all of us.
Oh yeah,
Right.
yeah.
And so, but he was the cutest thing. And when we were sad, it seemed like he always knew to come and hug, and he helped us heal.
Mm.
So, but I wanted to kill myself.
Mm.
I did. I wanted to go on medication. And because I was having some, it was rough, because the transition was, now understand, we're a blended family, so we've got the kids' mother side of the family that you know, even though she's deceased, but their family wanted the kids, and you know what I mean. And I'm just like, you know, I'm just letting you know, I totally understand where you're coming from, and I know that you love the kids and all of that, but the kids have made a stand, and they want to stay. They want to stay. They don't want to be uprooted in a home that they grew up in.
Right.
I just want to let you know that I'm going to fight it all the way.
Right.
Like, so if you guys want to go to court, be my guest.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna do what I have to do, because this is my family.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But it was hard.
Right.
It was hard. I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you.
Real quick.
Yeah.
I want to say something real quick. Micah is a very nice kid. He's a very good kid. And he was with Nettie and I when we went to a poetry thing in North Jersey.
Yeah.
And he's sitting in the back seat, and he must have thought that these two adults are crazy, because we were hungry on the way back,
Mm-hmm.
and we passed a White Castle,
Right.
and I made a U-turn through another store and went around and jumped the curb so we can get to the White Castle.
I thought we was gonna flip over.
We were like Harold and Kumar trying to get to a White Castle.
That's a White Castle.
And he's just sitting in the back looking like, these motherfuckers are damn.
Shout out, Micah.
Yeah.
Yes,
Oh my
yes,
God.
yes.
AKA Mikey.
Yeah, Mikey, he ate good that day though. He had
He
White
did, he
Castle,
did.
he ate good.
He did.
Now I'm sitting here talking, I want some White Castle right now.
Oh my God. Well, I got ribs and mashed potatoes I made. I was preparing this morning before I went to work. So
Yeah, I'm coming
they
to
should
your
be
house
ready.
after this. You got ribs and mashed potatoes?
Yes.
Mm-mm-mm.
Yep.
All right. Wow.
I'm hungry too.
You know, we foodies.
Yeah, you know, ribs and mashed potatoes, man. Mm.
What you got for me, Sam?
I don't know. Kenny,
They probably made you hungry now.
Kenny, what do you got? What you got?
No, but so what I want to say too is, real quick, we are filming this at the Lair Gallery,
Yes.
916
beautiful
White
in
Horse
here.
Pike. This is an art gallery. I believe the picture behind us, all the art on the wall is for sale. And one day I'm gonna have an extended camera so I can show you everything. But the picture behind us is already been sold, I believe. And there's a whole lot of art in this room, in this art gallery that is for sale. So come on down to the Lair Gallery, 916 White Horse Pike, Oakland, New Jersey. This, I do open mic here the first and third Thursday of the month. And we just did one last week, and Sammy was our feature. So we're gonna be looking for more features to come in. And we're gonna have you come in and feature on Thursday night.
Okay.
Yeah.
And well,
I've been here though.
yeah,
Yeah, I've been here.
I remember. And this Friday, I'm going to be appearing with the, Jeff Epstein
Oh.
is doing these songs. He's doing all these Sinatra songs
Oh.
and Billy Joel songs they're doing. And I'm actually singing in his show.
Get out.
Yes.
Very nice. I do want to say something though, because I kind of like left it dead when I said I wanted to, hurt myself. I just wanted to go back to just finishing that up real quick. I did have to hold myself responsible. Like when you're having suicidal thoughts, you do need to get therapy. You do
Yes.
need to, get surround yourself around people that are going to help you through your dilemma, whatever that dilemma is, whatever that trauma is, whatever that hurdle is. So I did have a safety plan in place, and I did have responsible people that cared about me, and I did have good friends that were praying for me. So that was very important. But everything is still our responsibility as far as trying to get on that healing journey. And we need to have our thoughts in check, and we got to practice that. So these things don't come natural. It's something that you actually have to practice. That's why we do affirmations,
Yes,
right?
yes.
That's why you constantly have to affirm yourself, because the world is nasty. And they will, I feel like it's designed to break a spirit. So I didn't want to leave that dry.
No,
Sorry. I wanted to go back. Like, there is.
Yeah, okay, I'm going to give you a chance to go back there.
Sorry.
Sammy, real quick, because what we're going to do is
Mhm.
we're going to go and we're going to give you the stage to do some spoken word,
Okay.
and we're going to walk away.
Okay.
And but before we do, Sammy, you have some things coming up that I want you to talk about.
Okay.
I do. Okay. Okay. So I host an open mic called Poetry and Paintings. Our next one is at the Bridge in Philadelphia.
Okay.
We are going to have the Ism, who's a DJ from Newark, and Lady Siren as our featured poet. She is amazing. And then I am also hopefully going to have I forget her poet name. Her name is Amelia, but she has another poet name. I forget it right now. Hopefully she will spotlight.
Wait.
But I'm gonna so we're gonna have that on October 5th. And if you buy tickets now, you get an additional $5 off with the code Gets the Worm. Because the early bird gets the worm.
Yeah.
And then if you can't make it to that one, I'm also going to be hosting one of the open mic stages at Soul Tree Fest. Which is a poetry open mic slash so there's going to be main stage performances and then open mic performances and like a kids table all going on all at the same time. For my section, I'm going to have paintings, like you can paint stuff while you're there, listening to poetry. So I'm going to be doing that October 7th, and that's also in Philadelphia. And then, I have a bunch of other events going on as well. If you're interested, you can look on my link tree. It's
When is the Soul Fest?
It's October 7th.
Okay. That's a Sunday.
Yeah, Linktree /ITSBYMMAS. It's Bymus. It's Sammy B backwards. So.
And you sign.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Yes, Sammy's a woman of many talents. Okay, so what we're going to do right now is we are going to, me and Sammy are going to cut over here, get out the way. Then
You want me to
wanna
move
take
over?
seats, Sammy's seat. And ladies and gentlemen, Nelly Long.
Okay. Hello, y'all. All right, let's see. I wanted to start out with just how. So I had a second poem that I wrote, and I wanted to talk about, my molestations and how they kind of all of the different things that I was going through, like mentally. It is a spiritual battle in your mind, and I wrote a piece called Infinity Wars. And the reason why I chose that, not because I love Marvel so much, but because it really feels like a never-ending battle mentally. So that's why I chose to call it. I am a victim of molestation, and not once but twice in my childhood life. And it wasn't just twice in my life, but it was by two selfish people, one of which was a continual, perpetual cycle. It was as if they saw me as weak, because I didn't speak out about the horrors that were being done to me. And most times I go days where life is just a complete blur. And I don't know what day or time it is. It's like I'm stuck in that sunken place and I want to get out. So I become desensitized to all the world. And as I lay on my left side, I prefer my backside exposed because I don't want to come face to face with the reality of being stripped from my innocence. And even though I was a child and I thought like a child, but I couldn't put childish things away because of this yoke around my neck and this bondage that bound my thoughts and these lies that brought my confidence level towards a feet. So I just laid there waiting to be devoured by an evil depression. To describe it, it would be an understatement. Trying to explain its true form, and never going to therapy seemed to bring its own never-ending pestilence and slavery to the very thing I couldn't utter out loud for help because it was always just swept under the rug, so to speak. And I held my parents responsible for me, but now that I'm an adult, I have to compartmentalize all of these different emotions as they come in different forms. But one must wonder how a person gets bitten by the multiple personality bug, because it's easy to be somewhere else. It's easy to become someone else in your mind while unspeakable acts are being done to your body and mind. And how this affects a person long term when it finally sinks in, well, that's when their true journey begins. Infinity Wars. So that was the piece that I had for when I talk about the molestation. And I felt like I was constantly in a battle of talking to myself. And we're talking at the age of, 7, 8, 9, but out of everything that has ever happened to me, and then going through my family trauma, I finally got to a place after being healed, knowing who I am and knowing who the Creator made me to be. And so this piece is called Blueprint, and these are just affirmation, like an affirmation piece that I like to always end a lot of my sets with. And it goes like this. I don't know why I'm.
You got it.
Y'all have to give me a moment. I'm not sure why I just literally did this piece Friday.
You stuff.
I don't even. I wish it was new. So I have an excuse for not knowing it, but Lord have mercy. I do apologize.
No problem. Where can we find you on Instagram?
Well, you can definitely find me in Instagram as Nettie Long Poetry. You can find me on YouTube as Nettie Long and Facebook as Nettie Long. I'm Googleable. All right, here I go. All I ever needed in my whole life was love, security, validation. I mean, tell me something more than what my mother or father have told me. Don't you just get it? Doesn't anyone get it? The blueprint of my expectations, he came thousands of years ago and he lived among us. And yet he had to leave from where he was from because no one could see who he was beyond his earthly figure. Perhaps no one can see me past my earthly shortcomings, and their expectations of me speaks the way they look at me. But nothing will deter me from going out and be who he has called me to be, which is blessed and highly favored. I'm unique and I'm made in his image and in his likeness. It's no wonder while evil lurks to smother the light, it can't endure any kind of light, let alone my light. And I shine brighter than the sun rays that grace my face, and brighter than any bright sunny day, brighter than any beautiful moonlights on any given day. And you too should feel this way. You see, our complexities, they're only complex to each other, but the Master Link, the Messiah, designer of all our blueprints, our very existence, our way of being, was all designed with one purpose in mind: to share our light with him in mind. Thank you. So thank
All
you.
right.
Okay.
That was
Nettie.
very long.
Wow, that was really nice.
Thank you.
Okay, so I hear also that you are going to be receiving an award.
No, nice one though. I'm going to be performing in that award ceremony.
Okay.
Sony Records is supposed to be there. A lot of celebrities are getting recognized. So it's definitely could be a game changer. Who knows?
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm supposed to be performing, and I'm also doing backgrounds for all the artists that are performing.
Okay, nice.
It is nice. I'm so excited.
When is that?
When is it? It's going to be October the 13th.
Okay, nice.
Yep.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
So usually when we do this, we like to ask.
Kenny likes to ask.
I like to ask, yes. and you've seen me probably do this at some open mics. I like to ask the out of the box question.
Oh, okay, yeah. Hopefully I can answer them.
Yeah. Well, you will be able to. You
Okay.
will be able to. I'm gonna make this.
You know me well enough.
I'm
Anyhow.
gonna make this easy for you.
All right.
You,
Mm-hmm.
the world is in disarray. Crime is everywhere,
Mm-hmm.
and it's up to you to stop it. You have 3 superpowers. What are they?
Kenny, you said you make that easy.
I know her personally. I know she is a Marvel geek.
We'll see.
So
let me see if I answer this right. My superpowers, and what am I supposed to be doing again?
you're saving the
Saving
world.
the
Saving the
world.
world.
Saving the
Well,
world.
okay. So my words happen to heal people.
Okay.
So
that's
my
one.
poetry, my voice as I sing helps minister to the soul. I'm very soulful, and my words, my singing, and my empathy.
Mm.
That's my superpower. I am very caring and very loving to people I don't even know. But that's just my nature. My nature
Right.
is I'm a
No,
lover.
you are. You're very caring. Loving.
Very
Now I'm gonna ask you a
sweet.
question. Here. Somebody's about to bomb a city,
Mhm.
and the bomb is coming down.
I hear you, but that's all I got.
You can't talk to the bomb.
I don't know. What I can tell you is that I'm very persuasive.
Okay.
Mhm.
Mine would be I would be able to like make money appear out of my hands, so that way I could pay off all the criminals.
Right.
You know, like instead of you bombing the
Okay,
city,
that was good.
I can just give you $1 million.
That was good.
And so that's one problem solved.
Yeah.
And I would want to read minds. Yeah, because
So you can be ahead of the game.
right, yeah,
I got
like,
it.
you know, Putin is what he's thinking and what he's saying is 2 different things. You know
That's
what I'm
true.
saying? I gotta know. And then and I agree with the power of persuasion. Like
Yeah.
as I speak, you just do what I want.
Well,
We're gonna go with that.
Right.
Wow.
Well, you know what?
Yes.
I mean, God created women in such a way. And do you know he used women all the time to get something done?
Mhm.
Yeah, couldn't trust a man to do it. I'm just saying.
The fact that I'm outnumbered at this table right now
Listen.
does not scare me
Yeah,
because
listen.
I am Kenny Walker and I am bold enough to sit here
Right.
and tell you you're wrong.
No, I don't know about that.
For saying what my superpower would be?
No. The statement that the women get everything done.
All I said was that he used women a lot.
Yes.
Now, I understand that.
He used women a lot for very, very, very important things.
Okay, well, men would use more important things too.
Yeah.
like dying on the cross.
Oh, that's cold.
But he did rose.
Yeah,
He did rise.
right.
He
He did rise
Like,
again.
He did rise
It's
again.
fine.
I think my superpower.
He an OG.
Yeah.
I think my superpower would be invulnerability, so nothing can hurt me,
Mm.
and teleportation,
Mm.
because as everybody knows, I'm
Yeah.
late everywhere.
Yeah.
Oh,
I am late everywhere.
so I
So
beat you today.
I need, yeah.
I mean, you beat me
Yeah,
today.
I beat you today, but that's never going to happen on a daily basis.
Okay.
I'm always late. So teleportation, so I can show. And you know what? I can have that power and probably still be late.
But so how to? So
But-
the question is to you, like, how's that going to save the world?
Because I can teleport to the problem
Okay, got it.
right away, and then I'm invulnerable, so you can't hurt me if you have, like, you know.
Bomb.
And then yes, and then I guess I would need super speed.
Mhm.
No, I have teleportation. I don't need super speed.
Mhm,
Right.
mhm.
I don't need to fly.
Right.
I'm invulnerable,
Yeah.
so I guess I would just need.
Indestructible, right?
I'm invulnerable, which
Okay.
means you can't hurt me at all.
Okay.
And I guess I would need mental powers on top of that.
Mental.
Yes, so I can, like, zap people and, like,
Oh, okay.
read their minds, make them do things, make things like teleport and make things fly around
like
and hit them.
telekinesis and stuff
I mean,
like
like
that.
I would have, like, the force power, like,
Mm.
and then I would train myself to be a
Like the
samurai.
professor on the mutants.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I could walk.
Yeah.
Very important.
But I could walk. So okay, so we've been sitting here talking to Nelly Long,
Mm-hmm.
Nelly Long Poetry,
Yep.
about all the things she's got going on. Where can we find you next besides that event? Anywhere you want to be?
So there is. I have to get the date, but when I'm actually going to be performing, like, behind for vocals for Angela Burton, but on the 16th of this Saturday, there is I have it posted, and I can post it in the links when we're done here. Bring your bags, and everything is free. It's an event. Here, let me just pull it up real quick so that way I am not misguiding you guys. It is in Philly. I'm showing up, showing out. I'm going to be performing. They're making room on the roster for me. But it is an event that Sister Tania is doing. I think I have it in my stories. There it is. Community Give Back. I don't know if you can see that.
September 16th.
They can't.
September 16th.
Just tell them.
So whatever.
16.
Come and bring your bags. It says bring your bags. And everything is going to be free. We're talking about all the way, from personal.
So you bring your bags.
Yeah, you
and
bring your bags.
What's going to be there for?
There's going to be feminine products and other stuff. It's for everybody. Clothes. If you are in need of clothes, there's going to be free clothes.
Mhm.
There's going to be shoes and food and things like that. So it's a community give back to the Philadelphia area. But yeah, please come to that. It is free. It's a free event. It's going to be some advocates out there that's going to help you through, anything that you might be struggling with. And so, I have to be a part of it.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that's where I'm going to be at next. That's the one I'm focusing on. Yep. So I'll be definitely advertising it pretty heavy. So.
Okay, so all you got to do is look up Nelly Long on Facebook, on Instagram, on TikTok.
Yeah, I'm on TikTok.
You on TikTok?
TikTok.
TikTok.
Yeah, that's right. That's my southern part of me.
TikTok. You got a Snapchat?
I don't.
No,
I'm good. I'm gonna leave that for the
I
young
think I
kids.
do. I might. I think my girls might have.
I'm good on that.
Talk about being a parent. I think I
Stay in my lane.
three daughters, man. I can't.
I don't know how you do it.
I can't.
But they're great daughters, though.
Yeah, they are.
They're
My daughter's a good
amazing.
girl. My
I've
daughter's
had
really
the
good girl.
pleasure of meeting his was it your oldest daughter? The one that was on my
Yes, Kiana.
Yeah.
You had a pleasure meeting.
Yeah.
Kiana was on her show.
Mhm.
regarding the sexual abuse because she was a victim, and I really
Sweetheart.
appreciate you having her on your show to talk to her about that because she's one of those people who's closed in and she doesn't talk a lot
Mm,
out to people because it was hard for me and her mother to get her to talk about what had happened.
yeah.
So she's a very special young lady.
She
And
is.
so I really appreciate you doing that and having her on here. That was very great.
I think it helped both of us.
Yes,
Mhm.
yes. And she actually, did you see the video that she
Mhm.
posted? You saw that video with the song? in the
That's all the
back?
more reason why I wanted her on too. To also be able to share that.
That
It was-
video was very deep. I gotta show it to you. It's great.
Mhm.
But in any event, this is Words Out podcast. I would like to tell you who we're going to be talking to next week.
It is Naima.
It is Naima?
Yeah, Naima, the self-love poet.
Yes. Okay. There you go. Naima, the self-love poet.
Yes.
That's what we're going to be talking. Thank you very much for saving me on that.
Okay.
We're going to be talking to Naima, the self-love poet, next week, next Monday. Please come back, join Sammy and myself. Please follow Nettie Long Poetry. And hey, God bless your soul and keep living. Thanks for joining us. If you're on YouTube, please subscribe, like our station, tell a friend. We're here every Monday night talking to different poets, and this will be broadcast on a Tuesday on You Got Next Radio, so 101.5 radio. So
Indie
come check us out.
101.5.
Yes,
Indie.
and Indie 101.5 radio, and You Got
Nice.
Next Radio. So this show probably won't be for a couple of weeks. We've got to do the other shows first.
Okay.
But yes,
Awesome.
so please come join us again next week for Sammy and myself. Sammy, you want to say bye?
Yeah, I mean, thank you so much for listening once again. I really enjoy our weekly talks every week, and I just want to say thank you, Nettie, for being willing to share your traumas, because it's not an easy thing to do, right? It's not easy, so it takes a lot of like bravery just to even be willing to talk about it. So thank you so much again. I really do appreciate it.
It was my absolute pleasure. Thank you for allowing me to be here. I don't get to share all of the little intricate details, but when I have an opportunity to share them, I hope that it's helpful.
Yeah.
And so that's why
It's
I
very
do.
helpful. I'm sure you have to. And there's if you check her out, you do your podcast.
Thank you for bringing that up because I was like, oh, I forgot.
Yeah.
So not only on the 16th, I'm going to be in Philly for that Give Back event in Philly that everybody's invited to. On the 17th, on Sunday, I will be airing season 3, the start of season 3 of They Took My Choice Away. And it's a podcast for survivors to be able to share their story, but not just share their story. You're also able to, even though we look back, but we look to see what they are doing now, right? And how the trauma has, did not dictate to them where they were going to be stuck at. And so a lot of the times, a lot of people are doing this full time, sharing their story and also trying to help others go through it.
All right, so that's pretty much our show. Please make sure you follow Nettie. Make sure you check out her podcast. She's going to be starting season 3 of her podcast, and she's going to be performing a lot of places, and you'll probably see her blow up on a lot of different places. If you go to any platform where music is played, there's a song called "It's On" at Miss Celie's Blues on Spotify, and Nettie, I wrote the song, but Nettie's the one singing in the song. So make sure you check that out. God bless your soul and keep living. See you next week. Peace.
Bye.